Hi everyone, my name is Priya. My group members are Tiam Ka Yee, Siti Aisyah, Siti Hanisah, and Nur Hidayah. Today we are going to talk about COVID-19, the MCO Divorce in Time Crisis. So let's talk about today's divorce is very common event these days. Most everyone has been touched by it either by going through it themselves as a spouse or a child or knowing someone. This essay is going to explain you the diverse reasons and how to prevent divorce. It contains important information that is needed for all people who wish to get married or already in the marriage. In order to save your marriage, you should realize the main factors that led such a critical situation. Many people are looking for the causes and prevention of divorce because they know the marriage is something special, pleasant, and even holy. The stay-at-home order may be a nightmare for some spouses, as it would be mean they can no longer escape from their out-of-work spouse under the same roof. If absence make the heart grow, wonder the what happen if the spouses are forced to spend time together in confined space. Would the pandemic in Malaysia outlast the marriage simply because couples spend too much time together? Each spouse may have their familiar list of marital irritants during MCO, such as finance management, environment changes, a lockdown life, a lack of marriage education, the changes in daily routine. These reasons combined have been more than enough reasons of divorce. This trend was observed in China when the COVID-19 started spreading and spouses had to spend almost 3 months in isolation with their spouses. In China, the divorce cases saw a marked increase, leading to massive backlogs at government offices as clerks struggled to keep their processing of tons cases in a single day. It would be reported in the Hunan province that one of the clerks commented the staff members didn't even get to time to drink water due to the long queue of divorce cases after the COVID-19 outbreak. Reasons given from trivial matters, incompatibilities, and domestic violence. These are the variety of factors from separation of couples, consequence of carrying a baggage of effects with them.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Aisyah and I'm gonna explain to you about the main idea. The first main idea, which is economy. Okay, okay. How economy affected to people divorce during the epidemic COVID-19? So let's find out how it relates to economy, COVID-19, and also the divorce. First, let's um, continue with the introduction. Okay, first, pandemic is devastating effect. They do have devastating effect on Malaysia's economy. Usually, it will impact the smaller businesses, the vulnerable groups, and also which is have the lower income individuals and workers. So it is very clear that the pandemic would damage the effects on both macroeconomy and also the economic welfare. So, welfare, what's important about welfare? Welfare for the family does relate on the situation where they need their income to purchase their supplies, they need to move on to their living. So, okay, what does it relate to the situation where couples will get stressed out to manage their financial during their MCO? Okay, how is it they are stressed out? First, the unemployment rate in Malaysia rises. Okay, unemployment meaning like they would lost their job, right? They doesn't have any job to do, and then they doesn't have any income, wages, so and so on. So the unemployment nowadays, I mean like now is already increased to 3.4%. Okay, now it's 2020. So it's the biggest challenge for couples to face where one of the pair does lose their job, so they lose their income. So they will probably have financial problems. So it would lead to arguments and having couples to make their decision without any consultation, without any problem solving. So they choose to have divorce, although okay, some of it they doesn't have kids and so on, but they decide to divorce so that it will not burden themselves. So the supporting details for that, it will be like, okay, employment among the couples can bring intense emotion. Of course, when you don't have any jobs, you feel stressed out. You feel like you don't know what to do, and then so okay, you know the economy will predicted the recover impact of recession, but it would still lead to loss of jobs. So the depression among them who loses their job would lead to making decision of divorce without any consultation. So the role about the money, the problematic and repetitive also tends to have the hardest to sort out. So couples would spend their great deals to try to sort out money arguments. So these arguments tend to dominate the family life and increase the feeling of stuck. So the couples often they have play the blame, meaning like they blame their like husband and wife, and then they point the finger to each other when they doesn't have any like good income. So the supportive details for the number two is the power of expedition. Okay, what is the power of expedition? Meaning like the increase of your cost of living, meaning like your supplies and so on. So when the demand increases, of course the price increases, right? Okay, you can see the demand now increases due to the supplies they need, they cannot come out from home. So the price may increase lah. So when the unemployment increases, most of the citizens have the crisis of financial problem. So when the price increase, when they doesn't have any income, so it's quite hard. So it will lead to breakdown and also lead to divorce of the family. So they have problems and financial. Mostly of the problems for the economy is for um, the financial problem for the family. So the second sub supporting idea would be due to family in the house for 24 hours. So they need the supplies for 24 hours. So you mean like you have to stay at home without going out. So the number of supply would be increases the food. So you have to cook every day. Okay, usually normal life you will go out, right? Without like some of them you will not cook, right? So for this MCO, sorry, MC would like cook every day at house, like my mom, alright? So the shortage of money first, the shortage of supplies, and also it would lead to decision. So they would like okay, normally women in the house would do their chores. So if one of the couples do jobless, doesn't have any job, so they doesn't have any money, shortage of money and supply, and the mother, the woman, need to do their chores and so on with shortage, it would lead to arguments. Alright, you can see um, daily life right now. So, alright. In conclusion, the economy would affect the divorce of the marriage. So, I see mostly I can tell is the financial due to the employment, due to the increase of price and price of supply and so on. So thank you. Let's continue with my friends. Right, bye bye.
Hi, my name is Nur Hidayah. Today, I want to continue the main idea about divorce during pandemic COVID-19. The main idea for number 2 is how environment affected to pupil divorce during pandemic COVID-19. The introduction for this main idea is the COVID-19 pandemic has reshaped our personal relationship in unprecedented ways, forcing us to live closer together with some people and further apart from others. And second is life in lockdown has necessitated close contact with our families and partner, but social distance measures have isolated us from our friends and wider communities. In less extreme case of conflict, many families and couples have found themselves navigating new problems, which perhaps aggravate existing tensions. A common point of contention is the reason what happens if people implement social distance measures in environments. Supporting detail for main point for the first is pandemic stress, the pressure of working from home, school closure, and social isolations. The supporting detail one is women bear disproportionate responsibility for unpaid care and domestic work. Women have been working longer hours total than men does for much less money. For example, like housework, caring for their children and elderly. Stress among women during the pandemic due to responsible in all the household and taking care of the family. For example, like women have 24 hours in home, so they need to prepare household work. For example, like they need prepare cooking, they need prepare cleaning, and then at the same time they need to housework. They need to handle their office work at office time. For example, starting 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. They need to manage two work at the one day. And the second is particular for couples who live in smaller house. This scenario can make it feel like neither partner has much or any personal space. No personal space for the parents or either the child due to school closure. The couple who have small children will have a hard time for finish their work. Pressure to do stuff in the same time and no cooperation between couples lead in the argument and misunderstanding. Supporting detail for number 2 is affected negative vibes from social media and digital network. When navigating conflict and strain on family relationship, people often turn to their friends and wider community for help. For example is, family problems should not be shared in social media so that there will not be any conflict between couples. And second is, some of the opinion is not positive and it will bring more argument. Seek to the specialist and psychologist is the best options. But for the since pandemic, COVID-19, not all psychology is open in hospital, but we still can contact through online. For example, like in social media, we can use Facebook or Instagram to contact with psychologists. And the second is, during MCO, all people are stay at home and full time with social media. The youngest generation is relying even more on online technology to connect with others. And second is, get effect from other people about their bad life, especially broken family. They make them to make decisions without consultation of the expert and divorce since her husband is a bad person. So they will follow the other people in social media. For example, like in public figure artists, many artists have divorced in pandemic COVID-19 because of the bad attitude from her husband, and they show in social media so the other people will see the what artists post in a social media, then they will follow what artists do because the public figure is more affected in other people. And the conclusion about my point is people have a fundamental needs for belonging and they are most likely to thrive in the face of stress when they feel closely connected to significant other. Although marital and romantic relationships are likely the primary source of support for many people, Maintaining bonding connection with friends and family, for example, through phones, call, texting, video chat can help couples navigate through difficult times. Thank you for me.
Good morning, this is Ka Yee. I would like to present about how education affected to people divorced during pandemic COVID-19. The purpose of education became important during this pandemic since COVID-19 and MCO forced the people to stay at home and use the technology such as the virtual classroom and also work from home with the laptop. Therefore, there is less experience of the marriage under the lack of marriage education. The spouse maybe don't know how to handle their problems and rushing to make a decision to divorce without seek for consultation. Who getting married at an early age are more likely to face some common family issues since they are not fully prepared for what marriage is all about. There is always a conflict occurs when they spend relatively more time with each other during MCO. If the couples were not cohabiting before marriage, they will not know how his or her spouse behave. The experience between the couples is insufficient to them to solve their conflicts. They might make decisions without thinking for the consequences. Second is less understanding of the purpose of marriage. If the couples lack of the knowledge about responsibility towards the household care, it makes one less prepared for extra challenge faced during the MCO. COVID-19 is a crucial time to test the husband and wife true feelings for each other and true ability to be a true wife and husband. When you are apart, you will spend less time as a husband or wife. You don't really know how well you are at performing your duty. Therefore, there is no complaining if less time spent with your spouse. Second supporting detail is the growing impact of education. In the relationship between the people's educational level, people with higher education or social class not only have the money, but also have the non-financial resources such as the communication skills and also the IQ. This may help them maintain the relationship with people. The people with high educated can through more channels to release their pandemic stress and the pressure from working from home. The second idea is about the liberation from traditional constraints. Nowadays, young adults educated liberals, they are against the constraint of older generation family life. They not prefer formerly fringe ideas like open marriage and full-time employment for mothers. The liberation from traditional constraint reduce the marriage rates and increase for the divorce rates. From this, we can so many couples divorce due to the different perception with each other. Therefore, it is important for the education either for the younger generation or the advice from the older generation. As a conclusion, education is an important role to maintain engaging relationship in a family. It gives couples to think twice before make a decision, either marriage or divorce. 21st century couple did adopt the belief that marriage is optional and divorce is acceptable, but in their personal life or real life, they sought to build mutually fulfilling marriage. Marriage is not a job. Divorce is not a game for the young people.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. I am Siti Hanisah binti Azman and I would like to present a main idea for number 4, which is how behavior affected to people divorced during pandemic COVID-19. Okay, during pandemic COVID-19, new normal will be introduced to us as we have to be careful to this epidemic spreading. Okay, MCO slightly been cautious that major businesses are forced to shut down their business in order to control this pandemic from spreading. Therefore, many people were unemployed and there are stayed at home around half to 1 month. Okay, otherwise they just work from home until around 2 months. So we are more than usual staying at home. Okay, however, with many of us staying at home more than usual, Physiology issues are common. Whether you are married or cohabiting, there are maybe mental health problems from being confined together for a long time period. Okay. The change in our routine and structure that we typically rely on, and the uncertainty surrounding how long this is going to last and what the ultimate impact is going to be on our families, our communities, and our workplace. Okay, next to the next slide. Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, supporting detail number 1. Continued exposure and chronic anxiety can worsen outcome, which is supporting detail number 1. Stressing to the causes of pandemic COVID-19 as an anxiety to control for a better future. During the pandemic, couples face a lot more stresses such as frustration from homeschooling and constant care, the division of chores, financial tension, potential blow to one's income and another else, which is the couples may face some of problems that make them frustration, and it slightly change their routine, change their behavior. So maybe they are forcefully to they are unexpected to be unemployed. So that's something they have to be stressed out. It causes increase in behavioral changes such as excessive crying or irritation, excessive worrying or sadness, unhealthy eating or sleeping habits, irritability, avoidance of activities enjoyed in the past, unexplained headache or body pain, as well as use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Okay, this kind of using alcohol, tobacco, or other drug will will slightly make changes to the families, which is relationship. Next to the next slide. Okay, supporting details number 2. Change the fabric of everyday social interaction, which this point explain this during pandemic COVID-19 by staying at home for more than usual slightly might change the fabric. Fabric means like relationship. Okay, every social interaction. Okay, when there is no tolerance into each other, most of the topic will become argument between them, which there comes a shift in the topics most often fight about. Argument about quarantine and reducing the risk of transmission and exposure are become increasingly urgent, making fights about money and else. Okay, every single topic will be argument between them. Okay, wasting time to something not give beneficial for their relationship. Okay, there is exist also a digital device between people who have access to their technology. The elderly population, for example, are less familiar with online communication technologies and less connected to their families, spending more time with phones or games more than spending free time with partners. Okay, these points are we can see that pointing to okay, so we go to the conclusion. Different personalities and values, different concept of children education and different living habits are the main causes that lead to a divorce among the couples. People usually have a lot of ways to vent negative emotions, but due to the quarantine at home, they cannot go out to ease their mood and might lose their temper and have a quarrel, resulting in a marriage crisis. Meanwhile, the novel coronavirus aroused many people's anxiety. Some who could not accept the behavior of their partner when facing the health crisis might have thought they did not share a common view of life and would choose to end their relationship. People, contact time, and intimacy are not proportional, and distance sometimes produces beauty. Given the fast, fast pace of modern life, people need to play different roles, such as being an employee, a son, and a husband by day. But the quarantine gave them too much time to stay together, and this change made many people feel uncomfortable. As a husband and wife, they supposedly could share or develop some common hobbies like cooking to make life interesting when being stuck at home. Needed to mind their own business and do not know each other and make their relationship because worse day by day. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
COVID-19 and MCO diverse in time crisis. So we are going to see how to overcome and ways to prevent divorce. First, cooperation, communication and mediation. The end of marriage typically unleashes a flood of emotions including anger, grief, anxiety and fear. Sometimes these feelings can rise up when you least accept them, catching you off guard. Such a response is normal, and over time, intensity of these feelings will subside. In the meantime, be kind to yourself. When kids are involved, divorce can be a traumatic experience for children, but research suggests that most children adjust well within 2 years of following the divorce. On the other hand, children often experience more problems when parents remain in high conflict marriages instead of splitting up. During a divorce, parents can do a lot of aids to their child's transition. Do your best to keep any conflict away from the kids. Ongoing parental conflict increases kids' risk of psychological and social problems. Clarify what you need to change. Make a list of all grievances and comments that your spouse has made to you that now, with hindsight, you can see were attempts to head of a divorce. List all the complaints, criticism, and disagreements you can recall. Clean up all the old hurts. Find out what resentments and hurt feelings your spouse carries that may have been factors that led to their feeling of a divorce. Write out all of the moments your ex recalls with anger or bitterness. Create your own list as well. Learn the four skills that are essential for sustaining a loving relationship. Talking together cooperatively, making win-win decisions together, preventing anger from spoiling your relationship, pumping up the positivity you emanate to each other. So if your marriage is enjoyable, fun, feel of fulfilling right now, I urge you to stay the course. Give yourself time to reach your point in your life where turning your back, the most important investment your heart has been made furthest thing from your mind. Give yourself time to make about marriage again. And the day will come, trust me, when you will know in your core saving your marriage was the best decision you ever made and you will be so what you did. So grateful what you did. So say no to divorce and be happy always with your family. Thank you.